Hello and welcome to GraphixCALC Sign Estimator 4.3. In this tutorial we're going to show you how to price small items. That's one of the biggest questions we're asked is, when we have something that's 5 inches by 5 inches, I cannot charge $6. How do I approach that in your program? There's actually two different ways to do that. And I'm going to start off with the first one. Okay, let's say that this is a decal. So most of you should all know, if not some of you will learn, there's two pricing approaches. This goes by the square footage and complexities, and this is based off of your shop rate, which is actual cost. So anything to do with inkjet and anything to do with digital prints, you go to inkjet. There's just 7 types here. Okay, you have digital, die cut, you're ready to apply, apparel, typical signage. But anything to do with, like I said, digital prints, you're going to come here. So let's make this, first of all, let's start with inches. Let's make this 5 by 5. In your sign type, yours is going to become preloaded with a few of them. And it's like anything else. You come in here and you can add things that are applicable to you. This program is a base. I mean, it's a really detailed base, but you have to also build from it. So I created one in here. I went in here. You always add to the bottom. Then when you close it, it'll go back up in alphabetical order. I added one called Small Prints and Decals, and I called it $10 a square foot. This is me just playing around with it. But once you get it to where you feel it makes sense for your market, whether you're in Ohio or you're in New York City or you're in Idaho, what makes sense in your area, and you'll just play with it and you'll do it just once. You don't go back in here again after you do that. So you come in here, select your type. This is my small print type. My complexity, I'm going to leave it on a typical. I'm going to contour cut it after print. I'm going to weed it. I'm going to laminate it. I'm cutting it to separate individual pieces. I don't know if I'm using transfer tape, so I'm just going to leave that alone. And I'm going to grab my media. I'll call it Oracal. And I'll call it 3651, the 2.5 milliliter. Okay? Let's put my media markup. It's always at 100%. My coverage is at 100%. And I'm going to grab my ink system, Roland. I'm going to grab my lamination, Oracal. Sorry, went out of order there. And I'm just going to leave it alone. So, as you can see here, based off of what we did, is you're going to be selling that for $14.47. It's only costing you 15 cents, okay? But some people may say, well, that's not high enough. Well, then you can come back into here, double click, open it up, and make that $15 a square foot. And then, like I said, leave it alone and see what that looks like, what works best for you. So that's $14.47. Now we're going to do the same thing over here. And you're going to decide which one you're going to use. And you can use both. I use both. I'll look at the square footage price, and I'll go to my shop rate, and I compare. So I like that. I like the fact that I have a choice between the two, whatever one I want to use. So now I'm going to come to shop rate. I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to compare the two. Sorry, I don't have two monitors, so we won't be able to put them next to each other. Let's go inches. And the same thing. We're going to go 5 inches by 5 inches. It's quantity 1. Oops, we got to change this. It's not cut vinyl. It's printed vinyl. So let's do that real quick. And there we go. Okay, ink system. We're going to do the Roland just like we did over there. We're going to pick that Oracal 3651, I believe it was. There it is, the 2 milliliter. We're going to pick our laminate. We're going to leave the default, the same one that we have for the other one. We're going to select our printer. I don't think I used transfer tape on the other one. No, I did not. Okay. And there's no substrate. And then we have a complexity. We're going to call it typical. And weeding typical. Let me see if I can see that compared to the other one. Yes, the overall complexity is typical. And then we do have weeding. Okay, they just have a different language. This one is a little bit more specific. The shop rate pricing. Okay. Now, that's at feet. That was one thing. I was like, why is this so high? Let's come back to inches. And it's at $19.96. But now here's the real neat stuff. So we have all the same information from the other one. Let me see if I can get that to come next to each other. Yes, I do. There we go. Okay. So we have 5 inches by 5 inches. It's quantity 1. We're going to be weeding it. We're going to be laminating. We're going to be cutting it, contour cut. And then these are the materials, the Oracal, the Orajet, the lamination, and the ink system, and it's 100% with our markups. So now let's get the markups over here. So here's our media markup. I'm going to make that 100%. And now, this is the cool part. Let's add our rip fee and trimming. So now you're up to $25.58. Okay, that's probably a little bit more realistic to what you should charge for a 5" by 5", depending on the size of your shop. This is how this happens. This is called the max labor rate multiplier. When I stay over the field, you're going to see what it says. The suggested maximum labor rate is approximately 5 to 10 times your standard shop rate. So what it did is it multiplied my standard shop rate. Okay, this factor primarily affects small items. Okay, I have mine set at the 10%, 10 times. That's what gives me this number here. You can choose to make it higher, but this is where you leave it alone. Okay, when you are, let's remove that. My shop rate is $64.93, 93 cents here. Let me change that back to 1. And if I override this here, it's only going to use my standard shop rate, and it's going to give me $1.97. By having this off for small items, that would be the only instruction that you would have to have, is small items, is to have that off. Then sometimes you have to do this just to refresh, especially when I'm doing a video. I'll go back to 1. What it's going to do is for the small items, it's going to go on ahead and it's going to use that multiplier, and it's going to give you a more realistic number for small items. Now, I do know some people that what they tend to do is they will leave this at a rate of 1, and they just know that when it comes to small items, they're going to put the multiplier of 10 in there, and they'll get a number that's closer here. That's just one of those practices that you do in any business. You know, there's a certain procedure to closing down the shop at the end of the night. You know, do you back up every single day? Do you back up once a week? Do you put that on your calendar? And there's these little nuances in businesses that only when you're trained and you're part of the team that you just get to know. That's just, you know, just kind of the flow of getting things done. So those are the two ways to do it. So you have your shop rate pricing, which is you know, goes off of your shop rate, and then you have over here using Inkjet Digital. Totally up to you. That's how you cover that. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we're going to show you some more soon.